You ready? Let's go. 2-minute daily devo for Thursday, May 12th. I'm in the Contemporary English Version today, and our verse of the day comes from the book of John, chapter 15. Verse of the day is verse 2, but I want to back up to verse 1 to give us some context here. Here's what it says. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts away every branch of mine that doesn't produce fruit, but he trims clean every branch that does produce fruit, so that it will produce even more fruit. This is Jesus talking, and he gives us here a beautiful word picture of how he is the source of our life. He starts off by saying that he is the true vine. We've talked about this before in previous devos. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And there's no other way to God except through him. And we have to understand that. And that's the basis of our faith, that it's Jesus and that's it. It's not Jesus and something else. Jesus is the vine. And he says here that God, his Father, is the gardener. And then he goes on to talk about us and how this works in our lives. He says that he cuts away every branch of mine that doesn't produce fruit. If you're not out there serving God, if you're not out there living for God, if you're not out there doing what God has called you to do, then you are cut off from the branch of life. But here's the good news if you are. But he trims clean every branch that does produce fruit, so that it will produce even more fruit. You see, Jesus loved to talk in word pictures and illustrations that the people that he was speaking to could really understand and grasp. And this is exactly what he does here in talking about trees. You know, and maybe you don't, but here's how it works, that if a tree is producing fruit, the gardener will come in and just take off the dead leaves and trim off and kind of keep it nice and trim and tight so that this tree and this branch can produce even more fruit. So this is the picture that Jesus gives us. That if we are serving God, if we're doing what God has called us to do, if we're living God's word and trying to serve him, then he's going to come in and he's going to just start to trim away things in our lives that are not pleasing to him. Things in our lives that are kind of like dead leaves on us, that, little habits and hurts and hangups and things that we're dealing with and things that we're doing. He'll start to just kind of trim those away so that our lives can produce even more fruit for him, so that we can do more for Jesus than we were already doing. My encouragement to you today is this. Start living for Jesus. Start serving him, and then watch what happens in the way that your life just takes off in the way that you serve God. If you're already seeing fruit in your workplace with your, reaching out and touching them with Jesus Christ, or your family, or, at school, or wherever you're at, just continue to serve God even more and see what happens as God starts to remove those little things in your life that aren't pleasing to him, and he starts to cause you to produce even more fruit, to do more for him. I want to encourage you today, let the gardener do the trimming, and let's start living for him and stay connected to the vine, which is Jesus. All right, that's it, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.